Carlos Pena did a really cool breakdown yesterday on the MLB Network. He showed his own swing and how it's not exactly in line. And one of the key elements was the fact that he's staying on his backside, and that causes that shoulder to go down lower than it normally would be. And that's what ends up happening. You see from this point, if that backside starts to release, then it stays about that height throughout the rotation. But as soon as the backside stops rotating, and it stops rotating the second the back foot just kind of stops like that. The hip stops rotating, and then the shoulder has no choice but to go straight down. In fact, this is a really good example of why that happens. Backside stops rotating, the hips stop rotating, and the shoulder starts going down, 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 down. And the bat starts going more and more and more uphill. So then his point was to highlight what happens with Joe DiMaggio, because when you look at DiMaggio, look at where his bat ends. See, this point right here is the same as this point right here, which is the same as this point back here, which is the same as this point back here. In other words, he starts his swing, gets in line, stays in line, in line, in line, in line, all the way around his body, and it's pretty impressive. But it's also very telling of, number one, what the lower half does. Watch his back foot. It gets completely to the toe so that everything has released as far forward as possible, and then it falls back. This is happening after the fact. And make no mistake, that's one of the huge reasons why guys that are having a lot of success with contact have it, because that backside is super important when it comes to contact. Bryce Harper has a lot of contact that happens as a result of making that backside release. And Jackie Bradley Jr. is having the same kind of success. And then Carlos brought in the lightsaber because it's hard to see the bat path in some of these older videos. But take a look at what happens here. If we just make a little mark so we can kind of trace where the bat's going, and we look at what that line is like, it's just about 13, 12, or 13 degrees upward, and that kind of depends on how you measure it as well. This may be a little severe, but the bottom line is he's in line with the line of the pitch. The line of the pitch is coming down at about that same degree line, and so when you're in that same line all day, you can't help but have a head-on collision, and that's kind of the whole point that he was trying to make. And at the same time, the mechanics that cause that is primarily one of the reasons why it happens so often. And he's trying to point out the fact that this is happening in both these guys. Back foot correlates really strongly with the line of that shoulder. And the line of the shoulder correlates really strongly with the line of the barrel of the bat. And when you're in line a long time, you're going to put a lot of balls in play that have a chance to be a hit. That's really what it comes down to, is putting balls in play that have a chance to be a hit. So this is kind of like light sabermetrics. He's using lightsabers to kind of illustrate a major point. And the major point is that mechanics have to do with swing plane, and swing plane has everything to do with getting in a head-on collision with the ball. And getting in a head-on collision with the ball has everything to do with putting more balls in play that have a chance to be a hit.